Welcome to HRP Clarity. Subscribe now and stay updated. Let's watch the video.
Very strange and very unprofessional of you. The answer is yes or no, and the answer is yes.
And talking about unprofessional, you say the president wanted a jet because it's pretty?
Excuse
Come
me.
on, this is a Senate, this is a
He said it
congressional
himself.
hearing.
He said it himself. I'm going to focus today on corruption. And in my mind, there are two types of corruption: personal, and then the other I'm going to call public. President Trump recently announced he'd accept that $400 million Qatar airplane because it was just prettier than the one he was flying around in.
I assume you're talking about when I represented the country of Qatar for a very short time.
The
Hold
answer is
on.
yes. No,
Hold
excuse
on.
me.
No.
No.
For anti-human trafficking for the World Cup. Anti-human trafficking
or
for the
no?
World Cup.
A heated confrontation just erupted in the Senate, and what was said might shock you. Attorney General Pam Bondi faced one of the most intense questioning sessions we've seen this year. A Democratic senator directly challenged her credibility, bringing up January 6th pardons and foreign lobbying. The exchange quickly turned personal. Let's see what happened.
Are incompetence, corruption, and cruelty. I'm going to focus today on corruption. And in my mind, there are two types of corruption: personal, and then the other I'm going to call public, governmental. Attorney General, have you ever been registered as an agent of a foreign principal under the Foreign Agents Registration Act?
I assume you're talking about when I represented the country of Qatar for a very short time.
The answer
Hold
is
on.
yes. No,
Hold
excuse
on.
me.
No.
No.
For anti-human trafficking for the World Cup. Anti-human trafficking
or
for the
no?
World Cup.
Attorney
You can't
General,
put words in my mouth.
no.
You want to talk about incompetence? You're the one that
Excuse
said
me.
Joe Biden on PBS was competent. You had to retract those words. So
Mr.
don't
Chairman.
talk to me. Don't insult me publicly.
This is so discourteous. This is so outside the committee's guidelines. Taking a personal shot at me while swiping at Biden? Very strange and very unprofessional of you. The answer is yes or no, and the answer is yes. You were registered as a lobbyist for Qatar. Is that correct? Yes. Never mind. Don't answer. Did you disclose that when you went before the Senate for confirmation? Yes or no? No, it was not in your documents. The answer is no. President Trump.
This was discussed at my confirmation hearings in detail.
It was discussed, but you failed to bring up the conflict that you had. President Trump recently announced he'd accept that $400 million Qatar airplane because it was just prettier than the one he was flying around in. Is it true that you gave advice that this was legally permissible? Yes or no?
I will not discuss any advice that my Office of Legal Counsel gives to the President of the United States on any matter.
When you spoke before the Senate, you said you would ask for ethical advice. Did you recuse yourself from that issue?
And talking about unprofessional, you say the President wanted a jet because it's pretty?
Excuse
Come
me.
on, this is a Senate, this is
He
a
said it
congressional
himself.
hearing.
He said it himself. Let me go to April the 2nd. You're a part of this, the president has dabbled in meme coin. He had the DOJ, disband the National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team. His son recently launched the Executive Branch Club, a private club with $500,000 memberships here in D.C. Any of this seem like it might be a problem, might be profiteering from the office, and maybe you and your ethics team might be concerned about these conflicts of interest, your own and the president and his family? Yes or no? Any concerns?
What I would be concerned about in Pennsylvania are all the child sex cases that we've prosecuted, all the CSAM cases that we've prosecuted.
Did you hear
in
my question?
Pennsylvania.
I
That's
asked
what
the
I would
witness
be
to
concerned
actually
about.
answer questions that are asked.
Congresswoman Dean.
Chairman?
Please let the witness answer the question.
She didn't. And I would like to ask you one more question. You're not just complicit in this, you're actively helping and profiting. Isn't it true that on April the 2nd, the same day that Trump announced his chaotic tariff regime that plummeted the stock market, you sold more than $1 million worth of your shares in Trump Media stock? Trump Media stock fell 13% in the following days. Seems you avoided that loss. Well done. I yield back.
May I answer that, Chairman? I complied with my ethics, and yeah, I would take a class in financial literacy if you think I profited from that, because I lost a tremendous amount of money. Congresswoman, and also, On page 25 of my SJ2, it lists my involvement with Qatar for anti-human trafficking for the World Cup.
What you just witnessed was more than a routine confirmation hearing. This was a direct confrontation over presidential pardons, personal integrity, and conflicts of interest. The Democratic senator opened with a pointed question. Did Attorney General Bondi advise President Trump before he issued blanket pardons to January 6th defendants? The senator's tone made it clear. He believes those pardons undermine Bondi's stated commitment to protecting law enforcement. What do you think? Was that a fair question to ask? Bondi's response was immediate and firm. She refused to discuss any advice given to the president. This is standard protocol for attorneys general. They typically don't reveal private conversations with the president. But the senator wasn't satisfied. He pressed again, asking simply, yes or no. Did you give him advice? Again, Bondi declined to answer. She repeated her position 3 times, maintaining that she would not discuss conversations with the president. The senator then made a procedural move. He asked for his time to be restored, arguing that Bondi's repeated non-answers were eating up his questioning time. The chairman granted him an additional 30 seconds. Here's where it gets interesting. The senator shifted his focus entirely. He accused the administration of 3 things: incompetence, corruption, and cruelty. Then he zeroed in on what he called 2 types of corruption: personal and governmental. His next question was direct. Have you ever been registered as an agent of a foreign principal under the Foreign Agents Registration Act? Bondi acknowledged she had, specifically for Qatar, working on anti-human trafficking efforts for the World Cup. But before she could fully explain, the senator cut her off and asked a follow-up. Did you disclose that during your Senate confirmation? Bondi said it was discussed. The senator disagreed, saying it wasn't properly disclosed as a conflict of interest. Do you think this was a legitimate concern, or was the senator reaching? Then came the most explosive moment. The senator brought up President Trump's recent acceptance of a $400 million airplane from Qatar, the same country Bondi had lobbied for. He asked if Bondi had given legal advice, saying this was permissible. Once again, Bondi refused to discuss any advice from the Office of Legal Counsel to the president. But then things turned personal. The senator said the president wanted the jet because it's prettier. Bondi fired back, calling that statement unprofessional and saying, "This is a Senate. This is a professional hearing." The senator shot back, he said it himself. In my opinion, that exchange crossed a line. Whether or not the president made that comment, the way it was phrased felt more like a personal jab than a substantive policy critique. What do you think? Was that an appropriate way to question an attorney general? Let's break down what just happened. First, the senator tried to tie Bondi to the January 6th pardons, suggesting she either advised the president or failed to speak up. Bondi refused to engage, citing executive privilege and standard DOJ protocol. Second, he raised the Qatar lobbying issue, implying a conflict of interest between her past work and the president's recent acceptance of a plane from that country. Bondi maintained she had disclosed this during her confirmation hearings. Third, the exchange became heated and personal, with both sides accusing the other of being unprofessional. Here's the bigger question. Should an attorney general be required to disclose whether they advised the president on controversial decisions like pardons? Or does that violate the confidentiality needed for the president to receive candid legal advice? And what about the Qatar connection? Is it a legitimate conflict of interest, or is it a standard part of Washington's revolving door between private practice and public service? One thing is clear. This hearing revealed deep divisions over presidential power, accountability, and the role of the attorney general. Some see Bondi as protecting the independence of the DOJ. Others see her as shielding the president from scrutiny. What's your take? Was this a fair line of questioning, or did it go too far? This is the kind of moment that defines a confirmation hearing. Not just the policies, but the principles. And judging by what we just saw, this debate is far from over.